All right, Kevin, I'm delighted that you and I get to share this conversation. We have been in circles around one another in a world where you're far more experienced and have written more books than I have on leadership, but we have been connected by one degree and sometimes touched here and there. So the fact that we get to be on a call together and talk about things that we care about, which we think makes a difference, is a big deal for me.
Me too. It's fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. For those of you who don't know who Kevin is, I have an introduction here to orient you. It's a short introduction, but it'll give you a sense of what Kevin's been focused on for now decades. So Kevin Eikenberry is a world-renowned leadership expert. He's a best-selling author. He also speaks, he consults, and he's a trainer of leaders literally worldwide. Inc.com has recognized him as one of the top 100 leaders and management thinkers in the world. The title you've chosen for yourself, Kevin, is the Chief Potential Officer of the Kevin Eikenberry Group. And you've spent nearly 30 years helping organizations in their leadership, their teamwork, and in their communications. You've worked with Fortune 500 companies. You've worked with small firms, universities, government agencies, and you've authored nearly 20 books as an author, co-author, or contributing author. For anybody who knows how long real writing takes, anybody with 20 bylines is for reals, right? And your own podcast is Remarkable Leadership with Kevin Eikenberry. And what inspired this conversation is your latest book is called Flexible Leadership, based on decades of experience. So you confirmed that is right. So I'm glad I got all of those lines correct.
I don't know if that was AI that wrote that or my mother that wrote that. I'm not sure which that is, Charles.
And does it matter? So, Kevin, you know that before this conversation, I spent time with Flexible Leadership, and I already shared with you that one of the things that I loved that you wrote that jumped off the page from me is you said that it's critically important for mature leaders to understand that different contexts take different kinds of leadership, full stop. Yeah. And you said, for example, when there's a crisis at hand and there are high stakes need to be handled, direct, decisive, and concise leadership is appropriate. Do this, do it now, you now. And then when there are other contexts, that kind of leadership isn't necessarily appropriate. I see you're nodding there. What's coming up when I just referenced this?
So here's the thing. Yes, and. I mean, you talked about when we're in crisis. In the book, we would use the word chaos, but it's the same point. The point isn't, it doesn't change. Here's the thing. Where the mistake lies in that is an awful lot of people say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But listen, Kevin, we're always in crisis, to which I would say, no, you're not. So all of what you said, I believe is absolutely correct. Like, first of all, context matters a lot. And the more we understand context, the smarter we are and the chance we have to make better choices about how we act, react, lead, etc. There are moments in time when things are chaotic, truly chaotic. And in those moments, the team wants you to say, right, where do we go and what do we do? The mistake that leaders make is they stay there way too long, because once you get out of that moment, there's much more likely that it's now complex rather than chaotic, or complicated rather than chaotic, which means that now you don't have all the answers anymore. And you need the input, and you need the ideas, and you need the perspective, and you need the ears to the ground that they all have. Yes, there's a time and a place still for command and control leadership. It's just not very darned often. That's the nuance I would put to what you said, because 100%. It's just that you leave it alone like that, then there'll be a lot of people say, well, yep, I'm doing it just right.
Absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, we know that any idea that we share, even gleaned from very, very wizened, time-tested tradition, anybody can take that knob and turn it to a point where it's toxic, right? And I have the same inclination when I talk about community, my subject matter, because I can take about the most basic idea, and someone says, hey, what if it's a white supremacist group? And of course, what they haven't recognized, well, you can take any idea into a context where, boom, you're now hurting people.